We already have several European electric cars, several Chinese electric cars, but not many Japanese electric cars which are officially available in Malaysia. That number is about to increase by one though, as we're here to check out the Toyota bZ4X. So UMW Toyota Motor has brought in several units of these cars and actually registered them for technical evaluation purposes on our local roads and also for market research purposes. Today we are at UMW Toyota Motors HQ to check out the Toyota bZ4X. Let's carry on with it. So in the name bZ4X, BZ basically stands for Beyond Zero, which is just Toyota's short way of saying achieving zero and adding new value beyond it. So there's currently only two models in Toyota's BZ series, which is the bZ4X. There's also a bZ3, which is a China-exclusive electric sedan. Like the Toyota 86, the bZ4X has a Subaru counterpart and it is called the Subaru Solterra. The bZ4X also has a Lexus counterpart, which is called the Lexus RZ. Before we go on, we'd also like to mention that Toyota is displaying its multi-pathway strategy at its headquarters. So the company isn't fully betting on battery electric vehicles or BEVs. So besides BEVs, Toyota is also working on FCEVs, PHEVs and HEVs. And if you look at Toyota's global website, it is also working on carbon neutral fuels and hydrogen as a fuel in internal combustion engines. Now back to the bZ4X. The bZ4X is built on Toyota's first dedicated EV platform, which is called the eTNGA platform, and Toyota says that this boasts low center of gravity innovations as well as greater rigidity innovations. So that all sounds good. At the front end we get this hammerhead shark-like styling, which we also see on the bZ3. And interestingly, on the bZ4X, the Toyota logo doesn't get any blue accents to tell you that it is an electric car. Like other BEVs though, the front grille is closed off to give you maximum aero. Interestingly, at the front we can see some complex use of surfaces and parts, so the hood has this small black trim which adds to the complexity, and the headlights get an eyelet setup, which is also quite interesting. Plastic claddings on the bZ4X, well, they are a bit wild and mainly on the wheel arches only, even so, only partially. Oddly enough, the plastic cladding does intersect with the charging flap, which is located on the left front corner, and I do find that to be quite displeasing. And on the charging flap itself, it does say electric, just in case you forget that this car takes electricity only and no form of fossil fuel. Wheels are 20 inches in size for the units on display in Malaysia right now, but the bZ4X does come with 18-inch wheels in its smallest size. Tires on the units on display, well, one unit is on a set of Dunlop Sport Max tires and another one is on a set of Bridgestone Alenzas. Perhaps UMW Toyota is testing which tire is best for the Malaysian market for the time being. The bZ4X does get a dual-tone color treatment, and in some markets it actually comes with a solar roof, which provides an additional 1,000 kilometers or so of electric driving range from 1 year's worth of charging. Not the units here though, as they just come with a standard roof. Just in case you were wondering, keyless entry for the bZ4X is on all four doors, and interestingly, on the bZ4X's keys is an AC button which lets you turn on the air conditioning remotely. At the back you get a roof spoiler with a bat ear-like design. There's also a small spoiler on the trunk itself. Tail light spans the entire width of the car, just like you see on a Yaris Cross and a Toyota Harrier. Just like the front end, the Toyota emblem at the back doesn't get any blue accents to tell you that this is an electric car. Globally, there are two versions of the bZ4X, with one being a single motor front-wheel drive and another one being a dual motor all-wheel drive. The versions that are on display in Malaysia are of the single motor front-wheel drive variant. So the single motor front-wheel drive version makes 204 horsepower and 266 Newton meters of torque. 0 to 100 is done in 7.5 seconds. As for battery, this car gets a 71.4 kilowatt-hour battery, giving 516 kilometers of range on the WLTP test cycle. So the dual motor version of the bZ4X makes 218 metric horsepower and 337 Newton meters of torque. 0 to 100 is done in 6.9 seconds, and since it still uses the same 71.4 kilowatt-hour battery, range is a little bit lower at 461 kilometers on the WLTP test cycle. As for charging, the bZ4X can only handle 6.6 kilowatt single-phase AC charging and a maximum of 150 kilowatts for DC fast charging. With DC fast charging at 150 kilowatts, the bZ4X takes 30 minutes to go from 0 to 80% state of charge. Inside, it's a rather unique interior design with some interesting use of fabrics on the trims, but the thing that would stand out the most in the bZ4X would be the steering wheel and the meter cluster setup. So like some modern French cars, you'd actually have to look above the steering wheel to see the meter cluster instead of through it. And talking about the steering wheel, the bZ4X actually comes with an optional Yoke steering wheel option in some markets. So we don't know how it's going to be like in here, but it does actually have a Yoke steering wheel option. So this standard steering wheel comes with an assisted rack and pinion system, but the Yoke steering wheel would be steer-by-wire. No pedal shifters behind the steering wheel to adjust your regenerative braking, but it does have a button on the center console for that. The head unit is a 12.3-inch screen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and honestly, without those mobile phone connectivities, there's not much you can do in this screen itself. It does have its own navigation system. It also has a voice command system. And besides those things, you do get a 360-degree view and a parking assistant. Aircon controls, so they're partially physical. So for the blower controls and the temperature controls, they are physical, but everything else is a touch-based control. You also do get seat heating and seat ventilation in the bZ4X, so that's nice. The gear selector is a rotary type, and to park, simply press P right here. Around the gear selector are a few buttons, some for the eco mode, snow mode, the parking view monitor, traction control, and a button to adjust the strength of your regenerative braking. Convenient features on the center console, well, there's a wireless mobile phone charger right here, 2 cup holders, a decently sized center armrest storage, and a bottom deck on the center console itself with USB-C ports and a 12-volt socket. While the interior of the bZ4X may be interesting with its use of fabric and rather interesting layout, it actually doesn't come with a glove box. Toyota says the bZ4X provides cabin space equivalent to that of a D-segment saloon, and in terms of legroom, I could say that they are quite right. Headroom though is a bit tight as the bZ4X has a bit of a sporty roofline. The floor is a bit high due to it being a battery electric vehicle, and thigh support on the bench could be better. In the second row, you do get aircon vents with some simple controls, 2 USB-C sockets, and a center armrest with 2 cup holders and perhaps a space for your mobile phone. Boot space, we do get 452 litres of space in the bZ4X with these second row seats up, and much more with these second row seats down. Speaking of which, these seats fold down with a 60-40 split. Clever things inside the boot, well, you do get these 4kg hooks on the left and right hand side, which are quite nice to have, and the boot floor actually has 2 height levels, and underneath the boot floor itself, where there's a bit more of extra storage space, perhaps to put your charging cable. The tailgate for the bZ4X is powered, so that's nice. Safety features on the Toyota bZ4X include blind spot monitor, safe exit assist, clearance sonar, rear cross traffic alert, parking support brake, and panoramic view monitor. As part of the Toyota Safety Sense, the bZ4X comes equipped with pre-collision system, lane tracing assist, dynamic radar cruise control, and automatic high beam. Before we get too excited, the Toyota bZ4X has not yet been launched in Malaysia, so prices and specifications have yet to be confirmed. And like we said earlier, Toyota isn't fully betting on electric cars as it has a multi-pathway strategy involving FCEVs, HEVs, and even PHEVs. For more information on the Toyota bZ4X, do log on to AutoBuzz.my.